I read 35 books in 2025 after not reading any fiction in years. I haven't filmed a video. It's probably 2014 when I was trying to take it seriously and even become a vlogger. I've been wanting to make videos again for a few years now. Nothing has gotten me motivated enough to film a YouTube video as much as reading has. And so I want to share my journey of discovering fiction towards the end of my 20s. And yeah, how that's also changing my writing because I'm writing a book. So let's get started. I haven't truly picked up a fiction book since I was in high school. I loved the Hunger Games series. I loved Divergent. After that period of my life, I only read nonfiction. My eyes were set on doing business and nothing else, or self-improvement. That was my favorite type of reading until I couldn't read it anymore. It felt like nothing was sticking in my brain. When I first picked up fiction again and the stories just were glued into my brain, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I haven't felt this in so many years. So we're going to talk about the 35 books I've read, and we're also going to talk about how reading those 35 books has shifted my writing style. Because I began writing a book about a year ago, I realized I should probably read fiction if I want to write a fiction book, to the best of my abilities. Like, I don't want to just pull from nonfiction style of writing. I want to have a library in my head of books I've read that I can be inspired by. 2025 was different from previous years because in August, a friend lent me a book of hers that she was borrowing from the library, and that one fiction novel led me down a momentous path of reading lots and lots of books. Yeah, I'm gonna give you my real, raw, probably different opinions of books than most booktubers. My opinions are going to be different nonetheless, you will see. So we're switching to this format because I sat in my chair filming for an hour and only 13 minutes of the video actually recorded. So instead, I've made this presentation. I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. I read 35 books in 2025. All of the books that I will be talking about in today's video are going to be rated, and if you want to read my full review, you can go click Goodreads in the link in the description below. I kind of set it up in this format so you guys could see like a calendar view of like what my reading looked like this year and the genres I read in each month. Some of the genres kind of go together with a few books. This month and the first few months, I read mostly nonfiction because I'm in ministry school, and so we read a lot of books. Yeah, in the first month, I only read one book and it was Developing the Leader Within 2.0. And as you can see, it's a leadership book, business book, nonfiction, self-help, and personal development. And I rated it 4 stars. I found that it was really helpful that as a leader myself, that I want to develop me, but also the students that I'm leading. And if you're like, what students are you leading? Sorry, I'm laughing because I'm like, me and my husband are leading a missions trip in March 2026. And so all of these things are very, very helpful. We're both Christians, and this book has helped us a lot. February, another Christian book, again, ministry school, one book. See the pattern? Nonfiction. Just wait until we get to August, because August is where I read a fiction book and realized I haven't read fiction in years, and suddenly I love it. Fired in so much momentum. Most of the 35 books I read were after the month of August. So August, September, October, November, December. So 5 months. Crazy. But this book is Face to Face with God by Bill Johnson, and I rated this 3 stars only because I've read so many of his books, and I find that some of it starts to like merge together after a while, and I love his books. I love. I've loved having to read them in school for ministry. March have our missions trip, usually from March 18th to April 3rd is like between there sometime. Again, read one book, Christian living, nonfiction, theology. I think it was the classic works of A.W. Tozer, and great book. I rated 3 stars. I'm rating these things intuitively. It's not like I have a chart and I'm like, oh, this is exactly why I'm rating it this. If it wasn't very memorable, if it's something I've heard before and there wasn't like something new that I was like, oh, that's a key takeaway for me. In nonfiction, this doesn't really count, but I like to remember characters, world building, is it a page turner? Am I going to go back? Am I going to reread it? All of those things will make it a 4 or 5 star book for me, and things that would take away, you'll see in a little bit. So in April, finished the missions trip. This book is by Haley Braun. It's Christian living, nonfiction, theology again. It's called Surrendered to the Holy Spirit. I love this book. I love it. Just because I rated it 3 stars doesn't mean that I didn't love it. It's 3 stars because number 1, a lot of the stories I've heard before with her in person, so it was hard for me to enjoy the book. It didn't feel new and fresh, but also I was here in Redding, California when a lot of the things in this book happened, so it just felt repetitive, and that's just for me personally. So I highly recommend this book if you're curious about the Holy Spirit. Haley Braun, she's an amazing speaker. You can find her online. She is awesome, so I love her book. Sometimes when authors in the Christian world, like especially pastors, the things that they share on stage, they come into the books, and then it just, especially if you're already absorbing a lot of their content, it just feels repetitive. So not bashing this book at all. I love it. I love the stories. May, June, and July, I didn't read any books. Can you believe it? I can, because in school we read so many books. I mean, 1 a month doesn't seem like a lot, but for nonfiction and Bible reading and homework and all these other things, which I love the Bible, we will get into that at the end of the video of what my star rating is for it. But there were a lot of nonfiction, and so August is the month, you guys. Can you see that book genre turn? It's starting, the tides are turning. So that's exciting. But in August, I read 6, 7 books in August after reading 1 a month, all nonfiction. This is what fiction looks like, you guys. I read romance, young adult, mystery, fantasy, contemporary, classic, and this is the book that started it all. My friend borrowed from the library, and I was like hearing that she was starting to read, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to read too. And so she let me borrow it. The thing I liked about this book was that the characters were really funny. You could probably hang out in this world for a while, but the reason I didn't rate it 4 or 5 stars is because there was too much swearing and open door like spice scenes, and that's just like not for me. Obviously, you could probably guess that from the earlier, you're like, you went from Surrendered to the Holy Spirit to Good Girl Complex. It got me reading fiction, and one of the biggest reasons I wanted to read fiction is because I'm writing a book, and I've been writing this book for over a year, and I've started writing it. I'm on chapter 9. After this weekend, I'll just put some pictures from our weekend in Santa Cruz, but it was a writer's weekend for me, and I almost wrote 6,000 words. I'm 400 short. I'm planning to finish that today if I can after this video, but I'm loving it. And I needed to read more to help me write my fiction book. That's where all this came from. Now this series, The Naturals, was one of my favorites. I'm so happy that I found this book after Good Girl Complex because it was a 4 stars. It was very innocent but fun in a way, like on the romance side. And then it was also like mystery, thriller. Jennifer Barnes just did such a good job with this book. And honestly, it kind of made it hard for me to read future books of hers, which you'll find out later. But this series is so good. I'd say it's a 5-star series, maybe 4.5 since this was a 4-star book for me. This was another series that I started. I did like that book, then this book, The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. And oh my goodness, I love this book. So close to 5 stars. I think that if it was a little bit different towards like the beginning and middle, there's like a slow start and then, but the ending, the plot twist, instantly I was like, I have to read the next book. And if you have read this book, let me know in the comments. I need to hear about the plot twist. Then, oh my goodness, I just realized I started 3 series. This is like book number 1 of another series, Fable, and I love it, by Adrienne Young. I want to read her other books so bad just because this book was really good. But again, I'm finding that when I like one of the author's earlier series, that I don't necessarily like the series that come after it. That's an interesting observation. But this was a 4-star book for me. I love the world building in this book and the characters. They're so awesome. With this one though, it made me want to read the second book right away. And so I did, and it was 5 stars, guys. This is 5 stars. Look at this. She goes from this like girl on an island all alone to like glowing. She's like on an adventure of a lifetime to find just out certain information. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I loved this book. And being on the ocean, I'm also an island girl, so reading about this, I was like, this is like the fantasy adventure, like totally not actually my world, but like at the same time I love everything in it, like ocean, not being alone on an island. No, that doesn't sound great. And like all the stuff she has to do sounds terrifying. And then there's like sort of pirates, but not really, I would say. I like it because it's not like cheesy pirates. I would hate that. And then this book I read in high school, but I was wanting to do a reread of it because I was thinking about it, and I was like, certain types of book with like a main female protagonist character and that they have to like push through and get to the other side basically. And this book, If I Stay by Gail Forman, was so good. I rated it 3 stars only because I think it could be a little bit better in some ways. And I think coming off of like 4-star, 5-star books and then coming back to a reread, I just had to rate it 3 stars because it's definitely not as big of a world. There's less world building in it, but the characters are amazing. I love Adam and Mia, and you'll see that when I read the second book, because this is also a series. I was on a series kick, guys. 3 stars for Narnia. The only reason The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is 3 stars is because I've watched the movie, and this book is one of those books where the movie's actually line by line like the book. That's not how I felt with The Hunger Games. That's not how I felt with Divergent. But when I was reading this book, I was like, I can't picture anything but the movie. And so I like my imagination to be a little bit more utilized in a book. We got for September, we got romance, young adult, mystery, fantasy, nonfiction, science fiction, and dystopia, which I love science fiction and I love dystopias. Here we go. This was the month, you guys. Look at this month. It's crazy. I think I read every day in September. The second book of this series, The Prison Healer. Oh my goodness, The Gilded Cage. 4.5 stars. The only reason it's not 5 is because the last book is 5, but it was so good. The second book in the Natural series, it's like we're going backwards in time. I love this series. This was a 4-star. I love the characters. There's one character in particular, I think it's the blonde one, just her attitude, and then the scientific one. No, she's the blonde one. Sadie, I can't remember, but they're just so sweet. I wanted to read more about them and just stay in this world for longer. Back to the Narnia. This one's The Magician's Nephew by C.S. Lewis. This was a 4-star book. I wish I read this before The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I was told that I should read it in that order. It's like a prequel. Yeah, I love this book. It was really good. It was fun to see the backstory of like how Narnia became a place, and I loved it. Oh, and then this is a little like e-novella Fable series. So after book 1 and 2, this is called Drift, and it's a story about one of the other girls, Willa and Koi, which is such a cute book. I wish this was actually like a full book. I think I would have rated it 5 stars if it was like the size of Fable or Namesake. But Adrienne Young, this needs to be a full book. I don't know why it's just an e-novella, the shortest thing ever. I want to know all the details, you know? And then Where She Went. So this is the second book from If I Stay, and it was 5 stars. I love this book. It was so good to like finish the story. The series is only 2 books. Compared to the first one, I was like, oh my goodness. Gail put her heart and soul into this book to end it on just such a beautiful note. I'm just so grateful. I love books that end happy. You'll see that in some of the books I rate like 2 stars. It's because the ending was not so great. All in, this is another book in the Natural series. Again, I could read this series for a very long time. It is so fun to read. Just like kids in a mystery trying to solve murders. And you're like, what? Why are kids trying to solve murders? Well, the FBI needs their help. And the Naturals are these kids that have natural abilities, which I should have explained when I showed you the first book. But now that we're all in the series, and I just love it. It's like one mystery after another. together and they have to solve it. And then in the end, which is not yet, but the 12 book, which we'll talk about in a bit, just like finishes it off so well. The Blood Trader is the last book in the Prison Healer series, and that's why it's 5 stars, because the ending made me so happy. It just like all came to a close. I don't think it could have been done better. I love the series. It was so good. And if you read like the first or second book and you're like, like I highly recommend finishing the series and reading the 3rd book. For me, I have a really hard time if I spent time on something not finishing it. Like if I read 50 pages of a book and I want to DNF it, I still will because I spent the time to read the first 50 pages, and then I'll give an honest review. Okay, the next book was C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity. This is a book I've wanted to read for years. People have been telling me to read this book, and I finally did it. It is nonfiction, but it was kind of a nice breather from all the fiction I had been reading. If you didn't notice, it was a lot. It's like need to come up for air. And yeah, I rated it 4 stars. Just think it could be, certain topics could be more memorable. I think if people who write nonfiction could include more stories or symbols that made it memorable, it'd be easier for me, just personally, to rate it higher. Then I read Powerless, which is a longer book, and it's kind of like a romantasy. Let's say Hunger Games meets The Red Queen, which I have not read The Red Queen, but from the feedback I was reading online, the reviews, it was not very good, guys, and that's why I'm not finishing this series. This book, basically, it sounds like copied so much from that book and then kind of mix the Hunger Games into it. And honestly, when I was reading the scenes with the Hunger Game aspects, I was like, oh, I just wish I was reading the Hunger Games. This is not that great. I don't think like psychologically it was thought out for the characters and like how everything was gonna make sense, and it just didn't make me want to read any of the other books. So sorry, it's a 3 star. I did like the world building and parts of it, and you can read that on Goodreads. Oh, Saint. This is also from the Fable series. This is about her dad or her parents. I love this book, guys. I loved it. I just, again, wish it was longer and more thought out, like the Fable and Namesake. I think it could have been so much more. Okay, Bad Blood, I think is the almost last. It's like the 4th book of the Natural series. Loved it, 4 stars. Then we come to October, where we've got young adult, mystery, fantasy, romance, nonfiction, and Christian sort of like biography, which you'll see one of my 5-star books of the year. Look at that. It's beautiful. Reading all the time, but less books this month. Okay, these books took me longer to read, going to be honest. Like even Ready Player One, I love sci-fi dystopian, but this book, it was so much 80s references, and I'm not even born in the 80s. I'm born in the 90s. So it was really hard to get into it. And I even used my Kindle, which I want to show you guys. Look at this cute. So this is my Kindle. It is a kid's Kindle, which you might be like, what? Why? Why would you buy a kid's Kindle? Kids Kindles have more space on them, but they're cheaper to buy. And it's like the same size as I think a regular Kindle, if you want to see. And it's just this really cute picture of a whale flying over the world. And my favorite animal is whales, so my inner island girl is like hardcore loving this. I love this Kindle. I've read most of the books on the Kindle. That's why I don't have any physical books. I'm like, if I'm going to move, which you guys don't know much about me at all. I haven't done a video for like 12 years. Planning to move to Asia with Scott, and I don't want to bring a lot of books with me. Also, I don't want to buy all the books. Why would I buy books that I don't know what my rating's gonna be? So back to Ready Player One, 3 stars for me. I just couldn't really get into it that well. The audio reader on my Kindle is obnoxious. I can't stand it, but I was trying to get through it. Oh, sorry, I'm skipping over 12, which I don't want to do because it was a 4-star book. I really loved it. Honestly, so close to 5 stars. I love the ending of this series. Close to perfect. I loved it. Alchemy of Secrets was the first book I ever got on Book of the Month. I got it for $5 with a cute hat that says book person. I'm obsessed with it. Would have worn it if I didn't have my hair up. But this was a 4-star book, and then I found out it's a series, but it's like just written. So now I have to wait. Oh, it's really hard to wait for new books. It's hard. But this one, just a little snapshot, is that my birthday happened in September, and then I read this in October. And in September, Scott did a cute scavenger hunt like birthday for me. And if you want to see it, I posted it on Instagram. You can follow me at Haley Jansen. I'll put the link in the description. But on Instagram, I have all these reels for my birthday, and it was just so fun. I got to run around figuring out riddles, and at each destination, when I got to the right place, a friend was waiting there for me with a gift in their hand, and all the gifts were purple. It was just like so fun, and Scott thought it out so well. And then I read this book, and it was almost the same thing, but like the story of like this girl, she's chasing all these like folklore like mysteries until like she finds the alchemist heart, or like that's the goal. And she's like making her way there, but it's like a scavenger hunt. And I thought, that's crazy. I just had a birthday, that theme, and now I'm reading this book. I didn't know it was gonna be like that. It's so cool. And then The Power of Communion. It was 3 stars for me. I'm so sorry, nonfiction books. I just feel like there's so much more I can get from fiction when it comes to storytelling, which when I do come across a 5-star nonfiction book, I tell you. And I'm actually reading a 5-star one right now, and it's so good. It's called Equipping the Saints by Paul Cummer. I love it. Definitely 5-star. It just makes my heart so happy. It feels like the Father's love, like embrace, just like hugging your soul as you read it. So highly recommend that one. But this one's by Benny Johnson, and I loved it. I just feel like I could have done more. I loved the devotional kind of feel and aspect of it. And then November, let me just read the genre. So we got romance, mystery, contemporary, and young adult. Some of my favorites. This was my 5-star read, my 5-star nonfiction, The Insanity of God. A true story of faith resurrected. Oh my gosh, this book resurrected my heart for nonfiction. I thought, am I ever going to be able to read it again? Yes, I love this book so much. It was so youthful. It's a missionary who he actually wrote it 20 years before he published it. And this is not even his real name, just to protect the people that are in this book. And oh my gosh, the stories you get to read. This is just like one great adventure, and I love it. I love it. I think I also love it just because of my personality type. So if you like collecting information and like almost like a journalist would, where he goes to all these different nations and collects stories and then brings the best to you. Oh my gosh, I loved it. Then the next book was a 3-star in comparison, but it was a romance book. I'm not usually like a huge romance book person. I like books with a side plot of romance. This was full romance with writer themes. It's 2 writers. They're falling. It says online like it's like he can't forget her, and maybe it's like she can't stand him and he can't forget her. I don't know. Something like that. And then we come to a 2-star book, Wild Dark Shore. A lot of people like this book. The ending, you guys, I can't even. The world building was great. It was sort of similar to Fable in the way of like by the ocean. It's just a little bit darker, a little bit more mystery. And I love the cover, but also I wish there was like a penguin bucket on this cover or something, just to show how dark it is. Like, I'm not gonna give it away, but dark, sad, interesting. Another 2-star book, The Inheritance Game. So I loved Jennifer Lynn Barnes' previous book, The Naturals, the whole series, right? Then I come to reading this book and I'm thinking, is this the same author? That was my initial instinct. I was like, did someone write it for her? Because the previous series was so in-depth, so interesting, so psychological, so puzzly. And then this one's trying to be that, but instead of murder, it's like game to gain your this random girl from this random dude. Anyways, I was a 2-star. And then December came along, and it looks like I only read 4 books, but we'll just zoom in on the genres. We got nonfiction in the first one. It's a memoir, dystopian fantasy with the Hunger Games, and then young adult, magical realism is the last book. And again, the last book was also nonfiction. We start with 4-star, The House of My Mother. This will be so interesting for you if you grew up watching YouTube videos of like vloggers and seeing their kids and their families and them doing their makeup and all these things. But Sherry Frank, it's like the nightmare like you don't want to live out in that scenario, which I was like, wow, I didn't even know that could exist, of like people getting filmed and then it's like so much regret and her mom ends up in jail and it's just crazy. I love this book, highly recommend it. Then there's The Sunrise on the Reaping, which of course is 5 stars because it's Suzanne Collins and The Hunger Games. We actually got to read The Hunger Games like in school and then go as a class when it came out in theaters. So that was amazing. I don't know if I could read anything of hers after The Hunger Games. I think she's writing more books and I'm like, can you just keep writing The Hunger Games? Sorry, not sorry. Like, this book was so good and I can't wait for the movie. Haymitch is such a lovable character, and to see him as his younger self, oh, it's so good. I love it. 5 stars. And then we come across a 3-star book, which is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I think this series is so cute. There's a lot of them, and this is the first one. For just a few reasons, it was 3 stars. Like, not deep emotionally or character wise or like world building wise. It's very much just like one interesting concept of when you go to this coffee shop, there's one seat you can sit on and you can get sent back in the past, just experience the past, but you have to stay sitting in that seat, and there's like a bunch of rules that have to be followed. They come back to the present and you have to get back before the coffee gets cold, or you're like stuck as a ghost in this cafe for the rest of your life. Not my favorite cup of tea, but I love coffee. I mean, I'm not even drink coffee right now, but like my brain loves coffee. I'm like addicted, so I have to not drink it. Instead, I drink tea like I am right now. And then the last book of 2025 was Writer to Writer. This book is so sweet. I rated it 4 stars. Yes, I did read it really fast because like, I think half the pages are just prompts and I saved them for later. As a writer, it's nice to have writing prompts, but I didn't have to read through all of it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna read the main teaching aspects of this book and then I'm gonna use the prompts later. But 4 stars, so great information. I was like, this is a masterclass in a book. It was fantastic. And then bonus, I finished reading the Holy Bible in 2025. It took me my whole life to read the whole thing to this point. Obviously, I'm not dead yet. It's 5 stars. Ever since I started using that Bible, every time I would read scripture, I would underline it with gel pen, underline it in gel pen, and now you can see it's all underlined. So this is the Bible my dad got me years ago, and it's beautiful. It used to have like gold sides, but I've used it too much. You can't really see that anymore. And open it. I have a bunch of cue cards in it. Cue cards? Is that what they're called? Like these? And they're gonna fall out. Proverbs. So see how I've underlined it all? There's like notes and things. So you can see the gel pen. Always use different colored gel pens. I need another Ezekiel. Purple. And then if we go to the front, you can see that they're all underlined, all the titles. So that's really fun. And that all happened finished it in 2025, 5 stars. Highly recommend the Bible. Life-changing. Durr. Okay, and then after those 35 books, I started using a really cool app called Fable, which makes your shelfie, which is so cute. It's like all whatever books you want to input from the year, you can put it in here and see what it looks like on your shelfie. It's so cute. I love it. These are some of the stats from this app, which I think are so beautiful. Like how many books you read from your most popular authors are on here. And then like your average rating, which this is based on Goodreads. I think now I'm going to use Fable because you can use 0.5 and like 0.25 and 0.75 for your rating. So I can not have it be like 1, 2, 3, 4 stars. And then your reading goal is set up here, and it's this cute flower that like loads throughout the year as you read your books. And then your finished books in like each month. I love this chart. It's so cute. It's kind of like I was doing in the video, but like its own version of that. So you can see September, I read the most pages and books. That was so cool. And then you can see all the reading insights of like my most read genre was young adult. Fable makes this really cool end of the year video for you, for your library. It's so cool. I just love it. So I had to show you the little screen grab of what it looks like because it's so cute. Look how motivating it is. It's like 35 books right on the money. You're in the top 10% of young adult readers. And then it shows my most popular pick. So I was surprised this was most popular. My rarest read, your hottest take, because it was so opposite of everybody else's. My review at least. And like your best book of the year, and I got to scroll through. I was like, definitely The Insanity of God. Such a good book. Most criminally underrated. This was fun to pick as you see me scroll through. I thought The Prison Healer Like, it's so much better than I give it credit for. The plot twist at the end drove me insane. And then the most beautiful cover was definitely Namesake. I love that cover. It's just so good to represent the series. But yeah, and then you get this cute summary at the end. You can share it on social media, and then you get to start your new goal for the next year. So I was like, I'm bumping it up to 45. If I can read 35 books in like 5 months, I can sure read 45 in 12 months. So now that it's dark out, I made this video before it got dark. Almost. Now that it's dark, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what book was your favorite book from 2025. I'm so curious to know and get to know you guys in the comments. We can be little book besties. I'm really putting out these videos because I want to find more people who have the same style of reading as me, but also don't want super spicy books or swearing or just like inappropriate. I really want like wholesome, cozy, introspective. I hope you enjoyed this one, and yeah, I'll stop saying fiction, but fiction. Novel, nonfiction. Just a second. Take a swig at my tea. Back when I was just a nerdy little teenager.